in other words, you went clean back to the beginning of the year and you started just and run the whole way through.
Yeah,
So
I
do
separated
we?
the months so we could approve all of them,
Oh, okay.
like,
All
by
right.
themselves.
So in other words, if everybody has their stuff in line, you'll see that it starts January 1st through February 1st, and it does go on to the back side, and will carry over on to the following pages, and you look through it, and basically it's going to be like pretty much 2 pages per month how it works out.
That's a nice breakdown.
I'm going to ask some of these questions to Scott. This can be a work in progress, right? You said you could pretty much get QuickBooks to do whatever you wanted it to do.
Yes.
Because if you give us too many pages, it doesn't work for us.
Well,
You know what I mean?
you are looking at a lot, I mean, what, 5 months worth of financials, you know, for 2019.
Yes, we haven't approved
Yeah.
anything this year yet.
And keep in mind, numbers grow on each other.
Mm.
So, 2018, have you guys did anything with that and reconciled it, bank recs?
I don't.
I don't think so.
No, so nothing's right.
Those well, the P&L might be accurate,
Mm-hmm.
you know, on the P&L side.
Yeah,
but
what we
the
said,
expenses and the revenue
should be right.
accurate
So we
on that.
can, which is all we're approving anyway.
The revenue and expense should be what it is for 2019, without it being reconciled.
These are detailed reports.
Mhm.
What he wants is a standard, you know, just the items and the numbers and,
That looks like a standard right there.
nope, this is detailed.
No, because the detail would have all the expenses, like the individual
Each
date and
individual
expense.
line.
Yeah, this is.
Do you have the dates and stuff on there? Let me see.
Oh, no, I guess it is.
Yeah.
That's the consolidated one,
Yeah.
because the detail would have
Yeah, it
310,
would have everything.
and what makes that up, there might be 6 bills that make that 3850 up.
Right,
So that's the consolidated one.
okay, this is a standard then.
But if you run 1 month of detail one, you're gonna have probably 5-6 pages, you know, because of your size of borough.
We have more than that just for the standard.
Well, that's for 5 months, but for 1 month, you should only have probably 2-3 sheets, that's it, maybe 2 sheets,
Right,
you know, front and back.
we just have 2.
Yeah, for 1 month, yeah, so that's standard, I mean, I don't know how much.
Well, we have
how many
January,
expenses you
and January and February on one.
Oh, yeah, so it's
And then-
pretty straightforward.
Well, we can take and look these over, and
You
if
take
anybody
these
has
copies
any
and
questions
then
or
you can
corrections
set up here.
on them, we'll look it
The mayor
over,
would be
and then
mad,
we can
but you
approve
could-
them
you
at the meeting.
Yeah, we can't.
No, we're not doing
Approve it all
anything
anyway.
tonight, but this will give everybody something to look over, and, so that we can catch up on what needs to be approved from, beginning of the year on.
Will you be emailing these to us?
I can, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, and, the last
You don't have to,
couple of
I mean,
pages,
in the future, the last one?
the last couple of pages that look like this, I kinda wanted to explain those.
Okay.
The past couple of days, I've been going through the paychecks from the beginning of the year until now. And, since I wasn't able to input those into the computer for like the FICA and stuff like that, I put them in a chart kinda like this, so it was kinda separate for right now, since I couldn't put them into the computer yet. But I have like the federal, social security, Medicare and stuff like that was taken out of our paychecks. I have that in
Okay.
that chart.
Please love talking about like.
Yeah, I just haven't had a chance to.
Each worker.
Yeah, that's good. So as far as bills, we don't have anything over 30 days or 60 days that hasn't been paid, do we?
No.
No, everything's getting.
The only thing I have a paper on the thing for the fire company that it has, I gotta get paid. That,
What is that?
well, it's,
Did they send them the letter?
I don't think they've done from that yet. It was already taken care of.
oh, was it?
They're supposed to
Yeah, well,
send-
this came May. This was, the fifth of June.
Yeah, ends the 25th of June, the notification.
Yeah, it's what
Yeah,
it's
that
for,
was
they
taken
send it
care
out, so you have at least 2 weeks.
That was paid, and we asked them to send the fire company an also thing that said it was up to date since the checks and that passed each other in the mail. They were pretty quick. We got it June 5th, and
Is that the pass-through you're talking?
No, it's their comp insurance that we're making sure gets paid. And Noel called to make sure it was paid. The lady verified that it was paid. And we asked them to send the fire company a same letter that states that
Yeah.
it's paid and up to date.
Thing of it is,
Cause
I
I
thought we, now maybe I'm mistaken, I could swear we voted on to pay,
The whole thing.
well, not only this one, but the one for the borough workers too, just to pay it off for the
Yeah,
year.
the borough workers one is paid up until next year, but this
August.
payment was until August, and
Okay.
then the new cycle starts.
When the new cycle comes in August, we'll get a $12,000 bill for that insurance.
Mhm.
And we're gonna pay the $12,000. Yes, that was what was voted on last year, and it didn't happen.
Right.
Instead, that monthly payment thing kicked in, and they were paying it monthly. But next year, come August, when we
Yeah,
get the bill, then we'll have to.
Yeah,
sit
when
down
you
and
get,
say,
when
pay
you
the
get
bill.
when we get the.
That don't make sense why they done that, but
When we get the portion from White, get the portion from
Then we
Victoria,
put it back in our general fund.
just add our part to it and just do it, and it would be said, done and over with. I think
Right.
it's a better plan that way.
yeah.
Did we compensate you for the delinquency?
Dick's supposed to send me.
They're not, I don't think
Jack.
think at the
I'm
moment
sorry, I
that
don't
there's
like
gotta
to
be
say
anything for that.
Oh, you're not gonna bill with
I
their,
don't, no.
Jack
I
has
don't
sent a
think
thing
so.
and told.
Yeah, I
to
called Jack, and he said that he would send me the bill so that I
Send
could
us the
pay for
bill so that we
for it.
can pay the fire company back that difference.
I don't think they've got it yet, if they
Scott
have.
has it.
He'll know if anybody.
He'll
does.
know, but I made Noel contact Jack
Okay.
and tell him that due to that mess up, that whatever the fire company had to put out, then the borough will pay back.
I'm not real clear. Was Scott gonna do a presentation for us or talk to us?
I'm not sure.
No, I
didn't-
just come up to show her a couple things whenever
Right.
your
When
meeting's
we're done
on
with
here.
Noel-
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
When we're done with Noel, then him and her can go back there. He's gonna show her some of the things he talked about before this little
Well,
meeting.
if you wanna start and go through these, we'll go through them quickly and then,
Here, I have no problem with what this does. I have a problem with what it doesn't do. And that's why I'd like to consult you. What we typically do, so come over here. We would have our budget that we passed right next to us.
Yeah,
And then we can see how we're doing in respect to that. Is it possible?
it's in there, it's right here.
But it's broken down. It's not in there. It's, you know what I mean? It broke it down by the month. It's easier if we can see our entire budget and figure out
You just
how
have
we're
to change,
doing.
yeah, you just have to change the date. So
Council-
instead of, when you run the budget here, you just have to, change that date from.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
looking
yeah,
to
yeah.
understand. Are you able to help her with
Mhm.
those type of things?
Yep.
it's right there. I mean, the budget and
No, but what
actual.
he's saying, it's broken down by monthly.
Right.
But here, it'll show, okay, you have a total budget in a line item, we'll say line item A, $12,000.
Mm-hmm.
But for the month of January, you spent 900.
Right,
So
so-
it'll show 9, 12,000, difference of
As it
11,
grows,
1,
yeah.
Yeah, but-
because it's only for a 1 month period. So you can have it, I mean, you can do it like this, or you can do it in total. You just have to change the filters in QuickBooks.
That's
And I
right.
can show
Okay,
it.
That's
Yeah.
right.
she doesn't know, and that's what we need,
Yeah.
your help.
I can
Am I
show
being
her.
unreasonable with what I'm asking? I kind of know what we need here, what's
Mhm.
worked for us.
That, I mean, what you're asking can be done.
Okay, because that way, like now it's halfway through the year, if we, the wages, I have no problem with that whole thing. But we could see, it would break, the way we did it before, we could see halfway through the year, we budgeted 35,000 for wages,
Yep.
we should roughly be
Yeah, you
halfway.
can do that, because it'll run for that month, but then show in total.
But it's
Yeah.
spread in wages.
I'm surprised why, in February,
You
the
guys
two
with
thousand
me on this?
shouldn't have,
I understand what you're
Yeah,
saying.
it
now,
didn't
yeah.
show it grow.
Well, what you wanna do is don't run it from January to February 1, go the whole month. So
Whole
January should go January 1 to January 31st, February 1 to February 28th, March 1st to March 31st on a monthly
Right.
basis. Don't cross over into the next month.
Well, yeah, that's what
Yeah.
That's
she
where
needs
you
to
messed
know.
up at.
Yeah, and we can do that. I can share, all
All right.
it is one change on the filter, and then you can do the
Then
budget
save it.
where you
Yeah,
have
me and Mark
January,
talked about that.
run the month of January for the budget actual, and then hit the total column, and it'll give you the exact total budget that you have for the entire year,
That's what we need.
plus it'll give you what you expended only for that month.
Right.
Okay,
And then
and
show
that's
you a
what we
difference
want.
in
And
dollar
now,
value.
would also give us, say now this is June, would give us a year to date.
Yes.
So we could All right.
Yeah, you can go,
You
like,
know where I'm coming
Mhm.
from, right? We
I run
have to
those-
keep this as simple.
I run those
as-
reports for my board.
Yeah, no, you're a little
Yeah.
bit different than we are. You're doing the whole thing, and you understand, you put the budget together, where we have to put this budget
Mhm.
together, and we have to know how we're doing in respect to what we budgeted.
Yeah. And you can definitely
And
see
you
that
can
on
help
the
us
report,
with
yes.
that?
Yes.
I'm not being unreasonable, am I, if I'm asking?
No,
Okay.
no, it's pretty straightforward, pretty
Yeah,
simple.
if you keep this as simple for us as possible.
Well, I mean, this is how you make decisions, right here. You have
Yes.
to, this is where all the decision-making comes from, right here. If this isn't right, you can't make
Nothing
decisions.
is right. And
I
I'm
mean,
with
really,
on
you
that.
shouldn't be making decisions, in my opinion, you know, because if your numbers aren't right, you don't know where you stand.
No, that's been our
Make
problem.
What's good for the community.
And
Yeah.
that's been our problem all along. We've been flying in the dark here. You get all that.
Mhm.
Okay.
I watch videos.
Yes, yeah, you know our troubles. Yeah, so you're our only hope really to straighten this out. I'm so glad you came here.
Yeah. That's what you're about, at the end of the years, each time it has 0, 0, 0 for your employee benefits.
Yeah,
Oh,
the
oh.
payroll's not done right. As I look here, the payroll's not done right in there.
That's,
Because there should be an employer side, which is your expense, so probably the payroll numbers in the gross might just be the net number. So the payroll should go gross to net in the books. When I say books, that's financials. So it starts out gross, goes to, and then your bottom line coming out of cash is your net amount, and then all your taxes fill in expenses, and then it goes to liabilities that you have to pay the government, and the
can you
state.
fix that for us? That the last time I looked, it wasn't broken down
Mhm.
properly here. I didn't get a chance to go through that right yet.
Yeah, you just look at that, I mean, are you guys now running payroll through, do you have, somebody doing it?
Somebody's
Yeah.
doing it.
Probably the best decision, I mean, made,
Yes.
just because payroll can be difficult, you know, and especially if you don't know what you're doing with it.
Yes.
It only takes one period to screw it up, and then you're gonna get notices. Employees are gonna get notices when they file their tax return, because their W-2s aren't gonna come right at the end.
Well,
So as
that's-
long as you get the information from whoever's doing it, you take the gross to net and put it in the books, and it all comes out.
Okay, now, you probably saw the way she was doing it here. It didn't have FICA broken out, so we could see it anyway.
Oh, no, it's not. It's on the back. All the employer, that 481, 484,
That's what she gave us, yeah, the last.
it's all zeros. So, I mean, even, I'm looking at April here, and it has 0 in there, and there should be something in there.
You kind
Because
of.
people would have got paid. So if you look, we'll just go from the start. If you look at January 1 and February 1, 2019, it's just single sheet here, front and back. If you look at the back there, the whole month of January, somebody had to get paid.
Right, that's right.
So there's no payroll taxes on the employer side
Mhm.
that should be sitting in there. And when you look at,
You're saying not to plug in all into the program?
oh, yeah.
No, it
yeah.
is. That's-
Yeah, you have
You're
to.
saying gross,
But if,
though.
no, but if you have a separate payroll company give you payroll,
Mhm.
they're doing it, they know what they're doing, they're going to give you a summarized
Yes,
sheet.
yes, we
that
don't have
says
that anymore, and we have done.
Employee A, employee B, employee C. That's the gross wages, that's the federal withholding, that's the FICA, that's you don't pay FUTA, that's the
payroll
PAUC, local,
Okay.
and
Catherine sent you.
OPT tax,
Yeah.
and then you've got your net wages, which comes out of cash. All those, that's a journal entry you have to make
Right.
in the books,
That's what I got.
which
all
will
this
then
from.
put the expense on here, put the net pay
So you can
out of
show them
cash,
what you can
put the gross
Okay.
where it needs to go.
Yeah.
So it's just working with the numbers, with the information that's
You wouldn't do
provided to
them
you.
separately, each employee separately?
I mean, I would probably do them separately, just for tracking purpose, because when you say person A, person B, person C,
Right.
but you could also combine them, if you had 2 people, 3 people working in the highway, and then the rest of general fund, you could say, add up all those numbers, run it through the general fund, that's total payroll, and then you guys would know, okay, A, B, and C is in general, D, E, and F is in highway.
That's exactly what we need right there.
Yeah.
Because we have the two funds,
Mm-hmm.
and we.
So, I mean, it's all on how you wanna do it. You can do it individually and just, because you have what, 5 people, 6 people?
We're better doing it collectively. You know, we don't need to see each employee.
No, but I'm
broken
just,
out.
no, it would consolidate it on this
Yes,
report, but
yes.
within QuickBooks, it would
Yes,
be individualized.
That, I get all that, and if
Yes.
we wanted to look, we always have that
You can run
option.
detail instead of
Yes.
summary,
Yes.
and you would see A, B, and C
Right.
in their net, or gross wages that they had for that month. And then
Okay.
all the taxes related to it down below.
All right, and you can help her out, so
Mhm.
we can get what we need, and it sounds like you're pretty clear on what we need, actually.
Yeah. You know, I mean, I have a payroll company do our payroll, it's just easier to do it that way,
Yes.
so.
I have trouble making decisions. I haven't seen this stuff in advance. It works better for me if this stuff is emailed to me and I can study it a little bit before I get here.
None of us seen it in advance.
Yeah.
Except her.
Yeah, that's
She's
tough on
making it
us.
up.
So we have to get this stuff in advance.
Well,
Okay, we
we
can take
have-
this now and
We
review it.
have till our meeting to
yes.
go over this, and then
Yes.
if you have a highlight something that popped out at you, and we'll take it from there.
Yes.
If nobody has any other questions, if Noel and Scott wanna go and work on a couple issues they have, they're more than welcome to do it that way.
Before you go, Scott, we could consider you an expert, can we not?
That's up to you.
He was an auditor.
I worked in an accounting firm down at Young Oaks around here for 12 and a half years, so, and then I needed to transition up to here. I mean, Glendale was actually my client that I worked for all those years, but.
If you would have a few moments, it would be real helpful if you would explain the difference between the board's role and management's role. What the board is to do, you know, we kind of get that, we set policy and they're to handle the day-to-day stuff. If you watch some of the videos, you see we have trouble in that area. Anything you could say that could help us?
I mean, out of my opinion, your financials is what runs any organization, hands down, no matter what. Now, you gotta have policies and procedures in place for the governance, but the financials is, if you're in the red all the time and you have no cash in the bank, you can't do anything.
Right, and
You
not
can't
that bad yet.
No, but you can't
Right.
function. So the main goal is to always have this reconciled, up to date. When you come to every meeting, every month, this should be, basically, cash should be reconciled, no unreconciled balances, and then you got your liability that shows your payroll liabilities that say, okay, we might have $3,000 worth of payroll liabilities, but they're gonna be paid the next month.
Can you show that?
Yeah.
We're not doing reconciliation as far as I know.
Yeah, and
We don't have
that's what needs to be done. Like I said, the expenses in here are probably fine, so is the revenue, because you're on cash basis, so when you're
Right.
going to reconcile the bank, it has nothing to do
But
with
we
where the
don't-
expenses are.
We don't see the bank accounts on here, do we?
No, you don't have a balance sheet.
Yeah, that'd be
This
real
just-
helpful
yeah.
information to have that.
Yeah, because on that balance sheet, you're gonna see assets, liabilities,
Yes.
equity. So at that bottom equity, you're gonna see, probably I don't know what they called it in, what your system's calling it now, but unrestricted assets, which
Okay.
is, you can use for whatever, but that's what the borough is worth, basically, if you look at that number. And then that next number is like net income, is what they call it. So that's where you stand as of this point. So once everything's reconciled, if everything was reconciled as of today, June 12th, that number there, whatever it was, plus or minus, that is where you stand right now, either profit or loss.
See, that's what we've never had that here.
We have issues yet, we can't even do a balance sheet, like what you're.
It's in the system.
Yeah, I know it's there, but there's some flaws yet.
Oh, yeah, once I show her how to put the bank in, it's easy putting that in and reconcile, but once you get that first month down, and that's gonna be probably the difficult one, and like I was saying earlier, I call it a plug number. You might have to use a plug number just because you had poor records from a long time ago, and you've got to try to get it straightened out. And there's no way else to get it straightened out without trying to put a number in there. But it could, you did have an audit in 17, so if you do have January, all their income and all the expenses from January off the bank statement, you might be off cents because the DCD is even numbers. So if you get to the end of January 2018 and it's 60-some cent unreconciled difference, I'd run that through as an unreconciled difference, use it as an expense, and then starting February, it should just work itself out to zero, because that's the ultimate goal, is to get to zero. If you don't get to zero, you gotta find out where your mistake is, whether you recorded a check wrong or whether you recorded a deposit wrong, but it should go to zero every month. And then your liabilities will be what they are, because the really only liabilities you have is gonna be payroll. And that's only gonna be probably the last pay, and it might even be zero liabilities, because if a pay period's on, like mid-June, and the next pay period doesn't fall till July, that mid-June, those payments are gonna be paid, unless they give you pay your payroll tax, because you don't have that much income, or that much expense, you pay it quarterly.
You get paid every week, don't you?
From
Every 2 weeks.
2014 on, with Social Security and all these government
Social Security,
taxes,
everything's
they
done
haven't
quarterly.
been paid right. If I understand this correctly, the government is threatening they will shut off funds like liquid fuels if we
They'll
don't.
hold it.
Yeah, if we haven't paid any of that stuff, we have no hard copies, we can't figure anything out.
I mean,
We don't know what to do.
payroll is payroll, in my opinion, payroll is due. So
Well,
obviously you're gonna have penalty and interest with what it is. So what I would do, I mean, are you guys straight on the federal taxes?
No, not as far as I know. Are we? As far as I know, we are not straight on federal or Social Security on any taxes.
Yeah, the federal
From
FICA and
2000
Social Security, well, FICA is Social Security and Medicare, and the federal withholding, I would call the IRS, who's ever, any council member could probably call because they're part of the borough, but call the IRS and say, okay, how do we make it zero? What needs to, nothing, I want nothing in 19 because we will take care of 19 because with as small as your wages are, they're probably, you don't pay till the end of the quarter. They might have it, on your 941s, they might just do it at the end of the quarter and, withhold all this tax. So when I said about zeroing out in the next month, you might have all those payroll liabilities until you get to April and then you'll pay them. Because depending on how large of an entity you are, like we have to pay ours every 2 weeks. Every time we get paid, we submit our payroll taxes. But you guys, I don't know if you're large enough.
Yes, we're small enough that we can.
And I don't know how they have
Council
it set up.
quarterly.
It could be quarterly whenever, so when you fill out the 941 form,
Well,
you
there's
pay the
the problem, since 2014, some of the 941s have not been filled out. Sometimes money's been sent, there's been no 941. They're threatening to penalize us, I guess it would be in 2020 if we don't
Yeah.
fix these things.
so, I mean, what I would do is probably call the IRS and just ask them what needs to
What
be
do we owe
fixed.
you?
Yeah, that's basically it. What do we owe you and how do we get out of it? And if they say you have to fill out a form, you can plead ignorance, it's new council, you're trying to get things straightened out, and if you have to send a letter, send them a letter, try to work with them and say, if I owe you $5,000, I'll have that check to you $5,000 in 2 weeks.
Just tell us what we owe.
Just
I
tell
don't-
me
I
what,
don't know.
and then it goes to zero, and then you can start over. Same thing with the state and the Social Security. What do we owe you? You pay the penalty, but they're probably gonna want a form as well. But you don't have, you could probably get out of filling the form and paying the money, maybe filling out a blank form, sending a blank form in for that and asking them what the penalty is and what the interest is and what the amount is owed and try to get out of it.
The woman that's doing our payroll did take some of this stuff, right? She sent out, I'm not clear on what she took out,
Yeah,
what she
so-
didn't. I don't think FICA and federal stuff is.
Yeah, so what I would do is call the IRS, see what you owe, to this point, minus 2019 stuff, because
Right,
you
doing that.
should be in the clear in 19. You need everything unless 18 was fixed, but what do you owe at this point minus 2019? Call the Department of Revenue, which is the state side, ask them what you owe there, if you owe anything, minus 2019, and call Keystone Collections, which is, that does the local.
Do you guys know where it would stand on these issues?
Could you do an offer and compromise
What's that?
with the
I have that
IRS?
letter in
I
the
know,
letter.
if we were
With the
10
bill-
years behind,
we called
they forgive it,
Yeah.
And like
I
I said,
got a
her biggest
client out
thing
of,
was not getting the
our office,
941.
and we wrote
And
letters.
she rattled
out
off,
of
and I told her, well, as
$35,000
soon as we
penalty.
knew where we were money
It was
wise,
a nonprofit, and
And
they
we could
didn't
start-
submit their 990, and it's 25
she
bucks a
said,
day
call
every
and
day
say,
after
okay,
it's
now what
late
do I
without
owe
the
you for
submission,
2015?
without the extension.
That's
Yeah,
what I'm
we have to
saying.
do
yeah.
that.
And they abated the penalty, and we got them out of that.
So we can
Yeah.
do an offer and compromise, you think?
They're gonna be willing to work with us. I think.
If you're willing to
Right.
work with them and say, hey, I can get you this check, and I will pay the penalty, I will pay the interest, I'm not trying to wipe out anything, we were in the wrong, we didn't submit it, we owe this, because it is payroll,
Mhm.
try to work with them and say, we don't have the records for 2004, we don't know where they're at, it was, we had big blow-ups, and it's now under
Hard
new
drive going
council,
down.
and we just don't know where all these records are at. Can we just fill a blank form that says 2014? We'll just say 2014, it's all zeros, but there's a $5,000 check attached to it, and call it even. They might work with you.
I know the offer.
Cause they want them,
You
they're
can
just looking for
compromise.
money.
Yeah, they might work with you, and I'm sure they will, just
Yeah,
because
they
you're a
want to put us out of
municipality, and you gotta
business,
function,
right.
you gotta function for the community. And you can always throw that out there too, this is for the community, this is what you
And
need
I'll
to
call
do,
them tomorrow.
so.
I'll be with you,
As
we'll
soon
do
as I get it
we'll do it
delivered.
together.
But those are the three entities, because you brought, OPT would be through Keystone Collection, the local would be through Keystone Collection, and the PA Department of Revenue. Who's your, UC? It's not the Pennsylvania Unemployment do you pay it through
Swift,
through E-Type?
isn't it Swift?
Or do you go through, the payroll, I can't remember if a municipality, it's been so long since I've done it. The PAUC that
Yes.
So it goes through the regular state
It
e-con, is that?
through the state
Yeah, so I
website.
would call them too. So once you talk to the PA Department of Revenue, ask them about your UC, which is your unemployment column, and payroll unemployment column.
There
and then
were
your state
troubles
tax.
with all of these, right?
Yeah.
Everything, just troubles with everything.
There was 8
But I
things.
think if us, like he's saying, us calling them and willing to,
But you
make
gotta get it,
amends.
like, you gotta, like, try to get it done immediately, because, sometimes it takes a while, it could take 3-4 months from now for them to decide, hey, we are gonna abate the penalty, we don't need the forms, just give us this, and this, and we'll call it a deal. But it might take a while, but the longer you wait, the worse it gets.
Yes, right.
That's right.
Well, yeah, that's why we gotta get on this stuff.
Because then it shows that you're not, now, like, if you're kind of persistent, you talk to somebody, call them back the next day, call them in a week. Just keep following up with them and say, hey, did this go through, because then they're gonna see you wanna work with them and get this paid to be correct. And then, once you do get it correct, having a payroll company do payroll that knows what they're doing, and what she gets
Right,
is
have
the
that.
information that says, okay, you gotta cut a check for 200, you gotta cut a check for 100, you gotta cut a check for 500. You do that, you record it on the books, and you'll never have a problem.
Okay.
Because somebody knows what they're doing in payroll.
I don't think it's the big numbers that we're behind.
What,
According
behind? I don't
to the
know.
audit.
We're not gonna know until we call
Yeah.
them. They're gonna know.
But you said.
But the longer you wait, the more interest it's gonna
Yeah,
accrue.
$25 a day,
Time,
yeah,
Yeah, we
$25
put
a
this off
day.
too long is what we're saying.
The problem about the not big numbers that we've talked about, and it
Yeah.
even happened this year, and I know it happened last year. When I got my W-2, it said I only made $1,400. Well, she only paid taxes in for $1,400, when I made $7,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
You see,
And I know,
That's where we're gonna, that's where.
That's
we're-
gonna be my next statement.
It has to be
Your employees
reconciled.
that have worked here are probably gonna get a letter eventually.
they did. One guy was so messed up, one poor bugger, he's on Social Security disability. He made $2,000, she reported $20,000, so they threw him off, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
He had to deal with all that crap. And it's working both ways.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing is
Yeah.
right, the numbers are,
Yeah, and
Bogus
that's
numbers.
where, you can cause your employees, and then you would have to do corrected W-2s, and then you
Yes.
have to, depending on if your employees went to a tax
Yes.
guy or a tax person.
the payroll,
to-
that woman is helping us now.
Yeah.
She tried to correct 218 as best she could.
Mhm. That's what I would just basically plead ignorance and say what you need to do, and say, how do we make this work, and to move forward and to do it right, because we do got the council that can do it right. And just, you're trying to benefit the community is what you're doing. And you can't function with having outstanding bills, because
No.
your money will be held. So,
And we don't function with money held in.
Well, we're out of business.
Yeah.
It's $30,000 out of a $130,000 budget. You can't continue.
Right.
We rely on that.
mhm. And then, again, you don't know the expense on the payroll side, of the books. So, say you had, I don't know, $2,000 in that month, really, and there's nothing there. Now you had a $2,000 profit, you really have zero profit.
See, what we need an accountant on this board, which isn't me. I'm not an accountant.
Yeah, and I don't live in the community.
I know,
would be
I know.
more
You would be
willing
the
to do
perfect guy for
it,
us.
but I live in Loretto, and I don't live in the borough here, so.
We
Right,
could,
I know.
we
I
could
know.
actually legally outsource it to a bank.
No, that's not our problem. I mean, just understanding our issues here would be real helpful. He could do this a lot better than I can. He's trained to do this. I'm not. We don't have the skill set really to solve this problem. Do you know what I mean? I understand accounting, but I'm
I just know the rules of the borough, like, if you don't live it, you can't.
Right,
can't
I know,
yeah.
I know. Well, we have a human resource deficit. You see the
Yeah.
problem. We just don't have the skill set required to fix this.
Are you authorized to do audits?
Still,
I mean, you still
no, I
hold
don't work
credential?
for a no, I don't work for a firm.
Oh, you have to work for a firm?
Yeah, because it goes under their name.
But you could do a pre-audit to,
Oh, yeah, you can do an
I wonder how
internal.
Matt
Yeah.
Foster worked out.
You know,
Because
Put it this way,
See,
for our, down
see,
in
he
Glendale,
worked
I have the
for
report
one,
ready,
and then
I have it
they
written,
rode.
the report is
Yeah,
written,
road, come on.
numbers are done, stuff's laid out on the table, the auditor comes, he spends 6 hours.
that would
Done.
save
Well,
us a lot of
That
money.
makes your
Well, that's
A
what
lot
happens,
of-
when they start doing more work, because they have to do it to get the numbers right,
Yeah.
because if they're not right, that's material in the statement of the financial statements, So even though they're your they're not theirs, and they can make the adjustments, they can do that, they are not their financial statements, and that's what the management letter says that you guys sign. They are your financial statements, and if if they're material misstated, and you go and give it to bank to say, hey, I need a $200,000 line of credit, and that's wrong, then it goes back, then, the auditor gets in trouble, obviously.
Right.
You guys don't get the loan, and it's just a big snowball. That's why they gotta do the extra work to make sure the numbers are where they should be.
And Jerry, that's why it cost us $5,100.
Oh, I know
They
that.
had to
I know that.
recreate our
I
books,
know.
so you make a fuss about it constantly. But I don't wanna go there, sorry, I don't even wanna go there.
Well, it was originally was like
There was there's another
440
reason.
441, and as soon as it started, and we've seen how much extra information they needed, I knew there was gonna be added expense to it.
Yes,
Because
yes.
it just was, every time you turned around.
Well, when I watched the video for the 2007, or 18 what would it be, not 18, 17's presentation
Right.
audit, that girl, I don't remember what her name was.
Tracy. She
Whenever
did a
they
wonderful job.
presented it,
Clark.
she was very
Lisa.
thorough in what they
Yes,
did,
yes.
but they basically did the entire year
Yes.
of reconciliation, entering numbers, like they did it all in, because they didn't have QuickBooks, so they did it all in an Excel, and, you got your beginning balance, all your adjustments, ending balance, and, it went in and out, but they took the entire year of stuff and had to reconcile that, so you
I
will
thought they did
pay.
an excellent job, really.
Oh, yeah,
Yes, they did.
I would agree.
Well,
I would agree
they
with
thanked Joe and Miss Whitstone
Yeah.
for what they did. They could have done nothing without them.
Yeah, and you need people to give you the information.
That's
and it's
right.
here, but they ultimately are gonna reconcile and do it, so basically they did bookkeeping plus auditing.
Yes.
And that's why your fee, because I know for, art, we started out, when we were there, $2,500, $3,000 to have an audit done with, it's clean. We go in, you give me all the paperwork, everything's there. We sit there for 2-3 days, audit the stuff, and give you your DCD report, and it's done. We walk out the door.
What would you charge to do a pre-audit?
I wouldn't charge the borough anything. Just because.
I mean, we need to
I work in the
compensate you.
community, I run the medical center down there, it's just, I wouldn't be looking for any payment or any, I'm just here to help, that's all I'm here for.
I think that would be,
Like, if you guys
our
want to
bill
help-
would be less than $4,000.
Well, no, she's not gonna go lower than 4, I
Yeah.
asked her that question. She
And
has to make
I'm
a
sure,
living, right.
I mean, put it this way, when you have an outside auditor do stuff, you're gonna pay for it, but
Yes.
you shouldn't be paying that much
That's
if
right,
everything's ready. I mean, a $4,000 bill to do an audit is pretty reasonable.
That's-
Today,
But if he has a
2019.
preset for us, our bill for the CPA is gonna be a lot less.
They're still gonna
Just
charge you because,
Right.
put it this.
They're
like when
gonna
I-
charge you the full rate
What?
even though they don't do the work?
Well,
They
they're
do the work.
doing the work. They'll have to audit the numbers, but it just makes it a lot easier.
Oh, yeah.
They can look at the cash and say, okay, that was reconciled, here's all your outstanding checks, these cleared in January and February, that's done, the 60-day revenue stuff. They might have to make some adjustments, but they're gonna be minor adjustments because
That's
real estate
right.
tax revenue, but, I mean, I won't even go there because it's not your cash basis, so whatever you get in this year, but if you were accrual, they have to look at January and February, bring some of that back because you got a 60-day rule that you can bring revenue back in because of real estate. But outside of that, it just makes their job a lot easier. You get a cleaner financial statement and you can make your decisions. That's the ultimate goal. You can see where you stand here at the end of the year. If you got positive money, that's all good.
But if I would make the motion and they would go along with it, what I'm talking about is a pre-audit so that we hand ready-made materials to the CPA.
I mean, pretty much.
And I believe he should be compensated for it, but.
Yeah, like you
And
said,
I would
they're
want
still gonna
nothing
charge us
for
the-
it, but-
whether we give them the.
Well, they'll charge you 4,000
Yeah.
instead of 5,100.
That's right. They're gonna have to,
That's
because
what you're
my rate alone when I left was like $180 an hour.
That's what she said to me,
Yeah.
she
Yes,
would too.
yeah.
That lady would charge
Yeah.
$180 to come and tell him.
And plus, I mean,
whatever,
to do the DCD, I mean, that's a report. It's just like you go and do, you have somebody do your tax return. You might get $200-300 to have them do it. That's a form, that you're filling out. It's a DCE form. Make sure it's right. You don't get any errors. You don't have any problems. You continue to do what the borough needs to do for the community, and you don't have to worry about the outside letters coming in saying, that's wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong, this is wrong. That's why you hire the specialty people to come in and do that stuff so you can do your day in and day out stuff that's for the community.
At the same time, Noelle will be benefiting because she's gonna see so it's almost two things happening at the same time. She is the key to us. I keep telling her that she is the key to all this.
Any financial thing, and again, I might be partial to it because I deal with it and that's where I've done my career, but you really can't do anything without financials. You can have the best business in the world, provide a great service, but if you don't run the books right, you're gonna drive that good business right into the ground.
Numbers tell all.
Absolutely.
Numbers don't lie.
That's
They
right.
don't lie.
I do the work, I take it to my accountant,
Yeah.
that's the way it goes.
And you don't have any problems.
Nope.
And you file a tax return, you don't get any letters from the IRS.
Nope.
That's what they do. You pay for a service.
Yeah.
Well, and the woman that was here was educating us.
Yeah,
made-
she did a very good job
Yes,
in the
she did.
presentation.
No, I'm not gonna defend the previous guy, but nobody ever read his audit. He didn't sit down with us in
Mhm.
detail. I read one of his audits today.
Yeah.
He actually did make some specific recommendations that had other people read it and followed them, we would have been ahead of where we are.
Yeah, no, she did a very good job.
That's
I mean,
what I
very
thought.
good presentation.
I thought so,
Very
too.
thorough. I mean, she went line by line on the DCD. She gave you, your, whatever, how many findings you had, went and said, you gotta try to correct these because that's what they, they're telling you this, you got a problem.
Right.
That's why they have it in here. Cause you can get, elected auditors to come in, they're not gonna tell you have a problem.
No,
They're just
that's
gonna put the
why-
report
that's
together.
what they're trying to say there.
But they're just gonna put the report together, and then you're gonna submit it, whether it's right or, these guys and, girls are gonna tell you, you have a problem here. You need to have segregation of duties, because that eliminates, not that fraud can't happen, but segregation of duties is the
Right.
biggest, number one finding that are in organizations, and especially small ones. So you gotta try to be creative and say, okay, how do we eliminate that? Because really, 3 people should touch every transaction. You should have somebody opening the mail, and then
Yes,
you should,
so-
theoretically, somebody
Yes.
opening the mail, somebody recording those, saying,
You're
okay,
right.
this
Somebody
expense goes
putting it in
here,
the bank,
and then somebody
yes.
working the books. Because the same person working the books shouldn't be opening the mail, shouldn't be,
Making
that's right.
deposits, whatever.
Yeah, she can put them together, deposits, but
that's-
somebody's gonna be reviewing it. As long as you have 2 people, she does a deposit and anybody here in council says, yeah, okay, yeah, that's good. Basically, it's borough, it should be an accounting department in the borough. So you have, you might have the borough manager and you might have an accountant. They're gonna work hand in hand together. And what needs done gets done, you bring it to the board, you bring it to council and you say, this is what we had for the month, this is everything that we paid, these are the 25 checks that we paid, because you can't function if you wait 1 month, because you're gonna be behind bills. You
Yes,
need to get
yes.
them signed while they're there, every 2 weeks pay bills, or every Friday pay bills. And that's gonna be consistent going out, but then you have a list from the bank that shows 25 bills, that's what you paid in that month. Here's your balance sheet, it's all reconciled, here's your expenses, and that's the bottom line for the month.
And then your board ratifies what you did.
And then the board says, yes, I agree with everything that's here, the balance sheet looks good, it's all reconciled, yeah, we had a loss this month, okay, we're gonna approve these financials, it's good. We move on to the next month and try to make the next month better. So when you start going into loss, how do we make and cut expenses? You might have to do that. But, if you're bare bones now, you gotta just work with what you got and to get these straightened out, because this is the key.
You wanna go work with her so she gets some of this started, Scott? We appreciate what you come
Yeah.
on. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Especially that stuff for the IRS, if you just give her the initials of who she needs to call before you leave today, so when I get that paper up tomorrow, because I have the paper from them,
Mm-hmm.
so I know.
Yeah, whatever number's on that, whatever
Yeah.
notice you got, whatever number's on, it's probably a 1-800 number, and you probably hold for a half hour or so.
When I called, the lady was
Yeah.
well above my means and she didn't care.
Mhm.
And she just said, you need this for 15, you need this for 16, you need this for 17, and you need this for 18.
And
And that was as far as
to
the
start the
conversation.
conversation, I'd be like, how do I make this go away? What do I need to do to make this go away and to make us whole? Because we don't have the information here. It's all new council members, it's all new the accounting personnel, you can say, everybody's new, and nobody knows where all this old stuff's at. So how do we make this whole? So,
You got it? You okay with it?
We have a
Yeah.
crashed hard drive.
Hmm.
Information was lost.
And that typically happens. When the hard drive crashes, do you guys get like a backup?
We do now,
now.
yes.
Like an external
We-
one, where you can
external
plug
hard
in
drive.
and then just move that
It
QuickBooks
should-
file over.
Yep.
Save it every week, save it every 3 or 4 days. like you can set it to tell you, hey, make sure you back that up,
She can
just
say,
move it over.
yeah, we went, as soon as that happened, then we went and got another.
Every time I come out of QuickBooks, it backs up automatically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can have it set up that way, you just, depending on the size of the computer, it just keeps the same file. I keep 4 and 4 is max, and then it just,
It tells you to
supersedes
delete
the
it.
next, it deletes
The last.
the last one that you
Yeah.
put in and keeps everything current.
Yeah.
Because if something does happen, you can just take that file and say, okay, input, and you got your books back up and running.
Yeah. Redundancy is the only thing, safety you have.
That's it.
Thanks
Wanna
again,
show you
Scott.
some of the stuff?
Thank you.
Yep.
Was there anything else, Joe, she had on the list? I know we'll have to look at this and then.
I really
Real
don't have a
quick.
list that,
If anybody has any problems with the numbers they go through, if there's a question, we definitely have to ask them as well.
I'd like to have some time to study this.
That's what I'm saying.
yeah, we don't have.
If there's a problem with it, we'd appreciate it before.
No,
Yeah,
Tonight, that's the idea of it, is to get them and have some time before the meeting, to go over anything.
If somebody sees something wrong, email Noelle and let her know where she might be messed up, just so next month's meeting goes by quicker. She'll have the answers.
This is
Does there anybody else have any questions that they want to?
Well, like he's saying, that there should be other people looking at it. Now, I have a portable copy of all that Noel has done at a specific day. And all I need is the password. You can take the password and give it to me, then recreate a new one in QuickBooks. And this old one would be, I mean, my information's not going to go anywhere, but I can manipulate the files and get different reports that I'd like to see, and I can look at it and filter it. But as long as it never goes back to Noel's work, there's no violation. But in order for me to open the portable file that has everything of QuickBooks, everything that she has here, plus I can manipulate it, I have to have the password. And you can give me the password and then automatically rechange the password in QuickBooks. And you should do it periodically.
No, it should be done probably at least every 3 months.
Yes, or even more. You can.
It's like your Social Security Administration, if you use online, that you go on to your Social Security, every 6 months, it deletes it, and you
Yes.
have to build a new one anyway.
Yes. So if she gives me the password for now, for the portable file that I have, all she has to do, as soon as I leave the office, or whenever is to change the password, which is real easy to do.
She can change it right now,
Yes,
give you the old one,
that's correct.
okay?
She give me the one that's valid
I'm
now.
computer illiterate. My
Oh.
first thing is I wanted to talk to you, Mr. Spade, about was, you give me your password to QuickBooks,
Yeah. I
okay?
would, yeah, I'll give it to you.
Okay?
You don't have any copies, but I'll give you my password.
What do you mean I have no copies?
You don't have a portable copy of my bookkeeping, but if I give you a password to it, and see, this password is, you're connected to the internet.
Correct.
Intuit has that password. He won't let anybody get on unless you have the right one. So they'll allow me on. You almost need to wait 5 minutes and then change it, because then once I'm in, I'll just be in. And I can look at all this bookkeeping, I can do filters, and I can come back with some suggestions for you, because I'll get to see how you do it. She has selectively chosen the filters to give to us tonight. And he's going to help her to get better filters because of what Counselor Zubrich is requesting.
Well, whatever, every one of the numbers out at the end, Jack, I don't know if you remember it or not, but all these numbers that's out in the end here, these are numbers that's actually, it's not
DCED.
DCED, that is numbers for each, like, I won't say
Count codes, yeah.
Yeah, that's their code that they use for everything, and that's why you see so many different numbers. But there's a list on their, like, if you go to their page and bring it up, that list will be there, what they suggest you use for what category. And that's how those are come up on the end.
Yeah, in the audit, they're all here. All of them are right here.
Yeah.
So,
Well, do you have anything that you need for the right to know that you need to, look at anything or get information for right to know or anything? Or are you up to date on what you needed for that?
no, she has some reports that she said she just got that I'm gonna look at and make sure. But one statement, I'm not trying to criticize, but even Councilor Glass,
You're good with Calvin, buddy.
Councilor Glass stated that we are not allowed to give third-party information out. And I was not privileged to see the information before it was sent. President took the decision and sent it all out. It was everybody's name.
Well, you can go to the courthouse.
And how much,
Right, you can go down to.
but that you can do, but we don't have the right to give that. All that should have been redacted. We should have given what originally I gave was just a summary of what was collected.
Right, and that's why I told her not to bother with that anymore, that let you handle what needs to be done.
Thank you.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's the only way, we're gonna learn from our mistakes, and
Yeah.
that was a mistake she made. She wanted to solve this person's problem.
Yeah.
She sent everything out, and I told her not to do that from now on, that it.
But I was there on the
If it-
third day. I had 5 days.
Right, if the ball's dropped, it's gonna be because Mr. Spade dropped
I
the ball.
did. So
Okay?
see, I have.
We took care of
There are probably 100 exceptions. And if something applies to that
Right,
exception, I'm going to deny, or I'm going to give
Understand.
partial. I'm allowed to give partial. And you can request and bring in drives, and it's supposed to be an unsealed drive. I made sure mine didn't have any viruses or anything like that, and plus I'm part of the borough. But the drive I use, if somebody comes and they want a CD of that information, they can request it. And so she would have to do it without password. Only thing is, I got a portable one. I started out with the accountant copy. My particular 2016 program, which is like yours, does not have that extra level for an accountant's copy. An accountant's copy I could have done a lot of different things with. But again, that would need a password.
You took an accountant's copy.
Yes,
And that
but
created trouble.
I don't have a problem. I had a problem translating it because I don't have the module.
But you shouldn't have taken that, you're aware
No.
that you shouldn't have taken an accountant's
Well, not
copy.
really. It's a good,
Even the
all it is the files.
Yes,
It's
but
the same thing as you're getting a copy.
Yeah.
You're getting a physical
It's
copy.
messed up, you are
Well,
aware.
what happened was, and that's what we fixed, and we called them.
Yeah.
Because of the way that she transferred everything over, it lost.
I forgot to tell her to turn it off. What it's for is the accountant copy. The accountant gets it. She makes changes and she gives it back, and then you reload it onto your computer. But my intent was not to make changes. My intent was just to look at it. And if I would have had the module for that, and I could buy it, but I'm not going to buy it. The portable is just as the same thing. And I have that, but I cannot access it without a password. The accountant copy, I wouldn't have needed a password.
Right.
Because it's a trusted entity, your accountant. But any of that electronic is under the right to know. And people can come in and ask for a copy of it.
Well, you talked about if somebody come in and wanted a CD.
Yep.
I don't even think we have the capability of burning a CD.
I think so on your computer.
It may be, I don't.
You just put the CD in and then copy the file.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know
Put
if
it
you
to a
could.
flash drive. or
Flash
whatever
drive.
you
CD
want.
sends to flash drive.
Yeah, you can, I know we can do a flash drive, but I don't think we can
You just gotta
burn.
hit the right button on the
But
Yeah, I know there's external ones.
if we receive a request for somebody wanting to put a flash drive on, they must submit it to you in an unopened package, brand new.
Yeah, it'd have to be brand new.
Well, I'm gonna call you anyway, so. it doesn't-
Because that can violate your system and they can put a virus on it.
That's a good.
I'll be
that's-
surprised somebody in this
That's like I
town
said,
wants
that's,
that.
yeah, that's your right.
Yeah.
But see, the people that are even asking for this other information that Mr. Spade's talking about is from what, Philadelphia?
New
Pittsburgh?
Jersey.
New Jersey. They're not even from here.
I don't know why there's an analytical.
Looking about for certain lots or something?
Well, what it is they're keeping track of the payments when somebody's, what?
A state or something like that?
There's a lot more to it than we know.
Oh, I figured that.
Right.
Yeah. But I just regretted, I didn't want to make a big issue of it, but when you're sending out, and Councilor Glass stated right in the meeting, sat right over there and said, any third party, we're not allowed to give out that information without their permission.
Okay.
All those names, we would have had to have Mr. Roops, your permission, everybody's permission before we could have sent that out. Yes, they can go to the courthouse and get it, but they're doing it and the county's doing it. But we don't have to give out people's names, and we have to get their permission.
Yeah.
It's a HIPAA law, or civil rights is the same thing.
Yeah.
So,
All right, anything else?
Anything else?
I'll take it.
thank you.
Does anybody whatsoever, if I go in there with no know-how and have her change her password, have any problem giving Jerry that password long enough so he can fix up that stuff and see what he can find for us? Because he can't do anything else. What yours has is your copy. You can't.
It's in there, it's ready to go, all I have to have is a key to get in.
She wouldn't want to do that right now while she's.
No, he can.
Well, you actually could, and probably I'll need her not to change it until I get in, and then she can change it, because
Well, it should be, you should be in and then like a half hour, 45 minutes later,
Right.
she could do it that way.
because QuickBooks will see it and say, you don't have the right to go in if she
Yeah.
changed her password.
I have kind of a problem with the whole thing.
See, and I'm curious about these password things, and not.
Well, it's only to open up, that's the security. And when you change the password, you're secure. You're secure, and all I
But
have...
you have to get in first to see before she can.
Well, I don't know that for sure, but
Well,
I'm pretty
you do.
sure...
Once the password's changed, it's a different password. You
That's
can't
correct.
get in.
I can't go in the second time.
I wouldn't do it, Calvin. It's your call, but I wouldn't do it.
I don't think there'd be a problem. If he already has the stuff, he just can't see it right now.
No, I can't get in.
Because I'm in question too.
I just
I
wanna know
want
what
the
what he's doing with it and where's it going.
Well, you can look at the
I don't think
report.
he's going anywhere with it. I think it's for,
He wants to
see if
change
he
his
can help
reports to
us.
his own, right.
You could go in there and look at it as a councilman right now, but you would have to have her open it so that you could look at it. And all I have is a portable copy. It's not coming back to be put in, so you're not going to compromise your system. The only thing is, I cannot get into those files until you have the password. That's it.
My
And
question is,
whatever
after he
I
changes
do-
it, after she changes the password,
Yeah.
I got a bunch of questions here before I, yay or nay.
Mhm. I may not be
And
able to
you're-
get into it if I tried to
After that,
log out and then come back in.
well, that's what I'm saying
Right.
though.
Right, that's right.
You understand what I'm saying? I'm willing to try something
Mm-hmm,
to help you out fix this.
mm-hmm.
I'm cool with that. But in the same turn, I don't want you to leave your computer on and stay logged in just because of the fact that way you can keep getting in there with that password, even though we've changed the password. Because now she's gonna, there's that thing in the back of your mind, Mr. Spade, that
If
somebody changes numbers.
Some of them,
This is public.
movement
It's
on
public
it.
information. They can't change numbers.
No, I can't,
That's what I'm
I can't get
asking.
over into
No,
your
keep me
system and
locked out,
change
yeah.
it. No,
That's right.
I can't
You've been
do
locked
that.
out once.
That's what I'm asking you.
No, you can't do that. You'd have to be, QuickBooks is proprietary to the machine that you're on. Now, if you had networking set up and I had the password to get into your networking, which is not possible, or if I could route into yours, and I'm sure your router is not a static IP for VPNing, and you have to set up VPN.
Yeah, there's no VPN here.
No, so there's no way that you're gonna compromise your system. Well, I mean, it's only for.
But compromise my numbers.
Do you know the
Yeah.
password?
Can you, no,
Does anybody else know the password?
no, she is the only one with the
I didn't know
password.
any of the
She is to write them down and keep it in a secret place in case something happens to her. And that's the only people that have, that's why,
Well,
you understand my,
she's the only one that's permitted to use it anyway.
Correct.
That's why I wouldn't sit down at the desk and try to run QuickBooks. I have when I helped her to put the budget in, I was on the other side of the table and she was doing the work. And she listened to the instructions and we put in the budget. We started it, because once you showed her how to do it, she was very quick. I made sure that she could do a couple before I left. And,
my thing is about changing numbers, amounts.
yeah, I could do anything on the portable, but as long as you don't put it back into your system, you're never compromised. You're not really compromised if you give me the old password and then you put a new one in. You're done. I mean, the old one will never work. There's no way that I can figure out by having the old one your new one. It's just too hard. Now if I was on a machine, I could do a jelly bean, and find all your passwords. Or if you're connected to Google, every one of your passwords are up on the internet, even your QuickBooks. So if you're using Google, you're compromised right now, I'm telling you, and I'll show you.
Well, anybody that watches YouTube has used Google.
Yeah, well, they could. Well, I use Bing because I'm a TS2 for Microsoft.
Okay.
Well, I already signed contracts to put that on.
But the average person uses Google to go onto there.
Oh, yeah. But you go into the settings, you go down, and then you go into passwords. You'll see every one of your passwords for every program you have. And if you're worried about compromising, if you've got Google on, you are compromised right now, the borough is.
Well, it's on my phone, I know that.
I'll prove it to you if you want to see it. And there's a QuickBook password right there. But that's not privileged to everybody. If it's in your Google account. Yep. So if you lost a password, you go into Google and you can find a password for every program you have on your computer.
Well, if I forget a particular one, but
you just remake one.
No, yeah, basically what it amounts to. You just put your email in and it sends you a code and you go back in and you can make another one.
Absolutely.
Use LastPass.
Absolutely.
You don't have to do that.
What's that?
Something called LastPass.
Can we do that?
Oh, yeah.
It's a master password.
Just so I don't wanna bother them in there tonight.
No, it's all right.
Is there anything anybody else wants to bring up?
Now's the time. Well, the idea of having this, if we can get a lot of stuff out of the way, then we can keep our meetings down to,
Yeah, I'm hoping to get.
a sensible amount of time without making them too long.
And it's 2 hours
If
or
anybody
something
looks at me
long
tomorrow, I got
now.
jury duty.
Can you imagine? It's 3 hours or something.
Yeah, we don't
Then
wanna keep it.
I'm gonna find out
Um,
what if I'm picked for a case.
I was telling Joe, just to keep up to date about some of our expenditures, I'm fixing that hole, okay?
That's
So,
great.
I know for a fact the pipe's gonna be $550. Me and Walt's already dug it out, so if anybody wants to see that, it is cleaned out and ready for a piece
I
of
saw
pipe.
it. It's cool.
The pipe itself is $550. I have to get 36-inch pipe, so it has a 42-inch outside diameter, so it'll fit in the other pipe. Then I have to build a footer, like a catch basin in the front of it where it comes out from underneath the building, so that when the water channels into there, it'll channel into the pipe and not go out around it. Cement's going to be somewhere around $330, $350. And then the plywood, besides mine and Walt's time. I mean, there was some of that because of where it was at, we were digging by hand. and clean out
Yeah,
the can.
because like you said, you can only get back in so far.
If you look at it, you can tell that the mess that we looked at and said, boy, just what are we gonna do with that? That mess is gone.
It's been there for a decade, right?
I don't know. Like I said, it was one of my pet peeves.
Well,
Before I leave this
you
place,
put-
I
We're
will
still
look
gonna
at it.
have,
plastic pipe
well,
Corrugated
it's PennDOT,
we're still gonna have a
the-
problem.
smooth bore,
Because it is
but
eroded
it's
under
the
the
plastic
building.
corrugated
but
pipe.
Good, yeah.
This is the main thing to get
Well, that's
rid of
a safety issue right
hazards
there.
of fall.
And that's what I-
Into.
It's a wonder that we haven't had somebody fall into it,
Yeah.
wreck there, some drunk or something, and cost us everything that we do have put
Yeah.
back in the bank. So, we are gonna get that. And then farther up the hill, I dug, myself and Walt, we dug that channel the whole way up to the, flat plateau up there at the Boney dump. We found a wall, actually the creek itself, walls on either side. We cleaned all that out, so there's probably a 4-foot ditch up there now where it used to be. I plan on up there on the flat side, we're gonna put a road in there, use some of the dirt from here.
There's one channel now. right?
Yeah, there's one channel
Two.
instead of two. We're gonna, take some of this dirt to put me a road down there for cleanup. And that big.
Where it's always soft, you would try to get into.
And, what we're gonna do is, I'm gonna build a cross channel, and we have that big metal gate that you guys had made before.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna put in there sideways for a catch bin, cause, even while we were digging, we got two tires so far, and a pretty decent sized log out from underneath the building right there. So,
It's crazy.
I'm gonna see how much I can catch, so I'm hoping within the next week, 'cause
One of the hard rains, this is for Jack to get caught up, one of the harder rains that we had, we ended up with a tire and wheel where in the hole where that drops down and goes under the road. Now, it had been in there a while because it was really red, but this is stuff that's still getting thrown out at some point, and whether it gets covered, then gets uncovered in a hard rain and comes down, and it's still a potential problem when you, because the tire and wheels what got stuck in the cast iron
Yeah.
pipe that time.
Yeah, but you mentioned there was a wall, I remember as a kid there was a wall there.
well, we dug down to the pipe in the wall. We got the water actually going down
It's a
the,
cement channel. You
Cement
can get
channel.
down in there.
And we're actually-
dig deep or something.
prior
Yeah,
to
sure,
where the cement channel starts
probably
on top of the
100 years old
hill,
or more.
we're gonna put that grate in.
Mhm.
And now that, it'll be something, you know, that I can pass on when I leave and whoever
Right.
takes over, and so they
Catch
know.
the stuff up there as
that
opposed to down here.
Periodically, after a good rainstorm, they'll have to go up and clean that out.
Well, what was going on when it did start to slow down and you go up and look, water would come down so far then it would disappear basically. Then you walk down below these things that Calvin's talking about. Some of it's near where the bridge used to cross and where the sand house was and some of that. You get down there, it popped back out again. It actually was going down under, and some of it was going in the canal, but way under all of this material and then popping back out down below.
But that's,
But that's just how much fine stuff and silk and just debris has come down over the years and just keeps building up.
It's not any better either.
No. Unless you had some kind of a miracle grow, like something to use on to chia pet, to put all over that bony dump to get it to, stuff to grow on it.
They do have.
Something like a crown vetch that actually cross-rooted and would really hold good, because you go up on the other hill and look across, you can see how much gray and black sticks out, you know.
A trip to,
If you fly over it, you can see too really good.
yeah. If you go to Penn State, you can ask the ag what you want, you know, to do exactly what you're asking
yeah.
for. Their agronomy.
I don't know if there'd be something out there, 'cause see, that ground belonging to somebody else, but I don't think there'd be an issue, because as long as, I have the feeling as long as he's not being bothered, he would let you do something as far as to get something growing on it.
brought that up. I have been in contact with Paul quite often, and the guy that owns it, the gentleman that owns it, and he
Yeah,
told me
Battery.
anything I need to do for the borough.
Well, he was giving us part of Oak Street once, and we refused it. I don't know why. they didn't,
Well, that used to loop, but when the bridge went bad, it was closed off. Isn't that why the bridge was too bad
Mhm.
and it looped off, and we lost that for liquid fuel from the point where Chestnut goes
Smoke
up and goes around to where it came around and connected with onto Oak, well, like the intersection of Oak and Spruce, yeah.
he was ready to give it when I was on council, the ownership of that.
It was actually a car in there at one time. So that just shows you how crazy different stuff ends up. And there's a lot
That was the
more
old man, that
traffic
wasn't
up
the
in there
board.
now than what there ever was
I
before.
thought it was
too.
Paul, it was Paul.
It was the old man though.
Yeah, but that,
Oh, the old,
Yeah,
was he the one that was gonna
yeah,
give it
the
to
guy
us?
I'm talking to now is the boy,
Paul.
he's much younger.
Yeah,
His dad passed
he's
away.
close to my age,
Yeah.
or maybe a little
Late
older.
Probably-
40s, early 50s, isn't he?
Yeah, young Paul's only in his mid-50s.
I thought he was older than that.
Where the flipper was,
Mm-hmm.
he was gonna give us that to put,
Yeah, I know,
and he was informed, don't do that, just hold out to somebody will buy it off him.
Well, you can see
and
Where
then,
that went.
where that went to.
But really, even common sense, though, even for black diamonds, I'd have had to really, really think hard before I'd have invested in putting a building on top of that channel.
Well,
There
they
was-
weren't going to they were going to put the building basically,
Where,
like on the either side, and the parking lot would have been over top of the channel.
that's what I'm saying.
too much, I took Bernice up there just to give fair to Paul, because Mr. Winslow that's where he wanted it. And, too much remediation, too much remediation. And she
Well,
said.
see, that was on, when, that was on fire at one time, and they had, they made bowls down there and filled full of water and would push the stuff on fire into it, and the guy that was running the dozer didn't even have a paper respirator on, let alone anything else. He should have had
There's 5 old storm drains that come out of there.
that's crazy. You know, they must have put them in because there's I would die for 5 storm drains from Pine Street on over, because there isn't any till you get to Haggerty's.
Right.
The mining was going to do something up here, remediation, but Mr. Edery won't allow anybody to go on the property, so.
Well, but they did the right side.
They drilled that buried dump 6 times that I know of, and there was gonna haul it out, and
There's
it's all
not.
red dog.
Yeah, there's not enough left
It
of
was
anything
glowing
there.
for
Yeah,
many
I mean,
years, yeah.
But now
You sit up at Rosebud and watch it look like somebody's
Yeah.
face with a smiley face.
Right.
Guys always thought that was the Red Dog guy, you know, but yeah, I could see it. Even Paul would have to consider and worry about any kind of expense that would come to his part with something like that, and they start digging that up. And that, I'm sure his attorney somewhere told him, you better stay away from there, because they start digging that up and then find something, then he's responsible. I wouldn't bother with it either, because he did the right side. Remember
Does he have the?
dozed it back and forth and then put dirt on top of it.
Yeah,
Well, that was to
Mine
put the fire.
Reclamation did that
Yeah.
side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they were
That's it.
ready to come back in.
Boy, that
'Cause
would
I
have
worked on
that'd
trying
been
to do
actually
that.
Nice, 'cause look how good, whatever they used, of course, they hauled, like you said, they hauled it away, put like 4 feet on and compacted it and then more. But whatever they put on, where they took the bony / coal stone out, and put some dirt on it, whatever they put on that side, it really took hold. And if the other side held half as good as that side did, we wouldn't have near the problem that we have.
I wish they would have not prohibited Red Dog. Boy, you could do
I
a
thought
lot.
we could still use Red Dog.
It was road and earth.
I
We
thought there
made
was
good roads.
acid or something in
yes,
it.
it made really good roads.
Yeah.
Well, but Franklin Street's the lower half of Franklin Street.
Is that what a base is for it?
So that was dirt for years.
Well, that's nice to know. that you can use Red Dog again.
Mm-hmm. It was a gold note.
Well, I know, we'll just have to keep an eye on stuff, because there's a lot more traffic going that way, and with them cutting timber up right above me, because I can hear them up there different times, that means there'll be more traffic can come around that side to get down to this side, so we'll just...
That's Haggerty's, isn't it? Is that
Well,
Haggerty's?
no.
Some
of it is.
Some of them is
The
up
power
there.
line, my understanding, the power line, when you get up to the power line, anything past the power line belongs to Richard and David. Below it, Henry still has this round half moon circle here. And that's who's cutting that. And then he's gonna cut clear across the top of Schrock. Because I have talked to Paul and I talked to Tim Irac.
Well, what it amounts to, when somebody gets a really good road basically built into something, that makes a place for people to dump stuff. And if we end up with tires, you know, it's an issue that tires can end up back down. It may not seem like a lot, but it is when it gets stuck in a pipe and causes flooding of half of a town.
Somebody was burning tires up there one year. It was
Boy,
billowing in black smoke up there.
Up there?
Yeah.
Well, as far as catching it on fire, I mean, it's pretty rough, but...
Yeah.
Well, there's probably gotta be a fire right in this neighborhood here somewhere of an outdoor, 'cause I've seen some couches and some other stuff piled up, and there'll be a
I see that.
rip roar at some time, and it'll probably be on a hot night in August, and
Mention that.
Rained it.
I gotta tell you a funny one. There was, a friend of mine lives in City, Ohio, and he put a couch and a chair out in the sidewalk, said 3. Sat there a week. Set it inside his fence and put $50 on it. It was there one night and disappeared.
somebody thought it was worth something and he took it.
Yeah. He said, well, I know that. He said, I left it inside the fence to begin with.
Yeah, sounds good.
That's a sad world that it is. But,
Yeah.
well, if nobody has anything else, I think we just
Thank you for the information.
have the meeting. We'll adjourn the meeting for tonight then. Well, the workshop, not the, it's actually a meeting, it's a workshop.
It was productive, gentlemen, thank you. Thanks for showing up. Hopefully.
This November 2019, you have an opportunity to vote for Gerald W. Spade Sr. in the upcoming elections for councilor for Coalport Borough Council. Take this opportunity to exercise your power in the community. Vote by writing in his name on the ballot.